I'm a pharmacist in Reykjavik, and last March, this American woman walks in demanding prescription refills. She's waving her insurance card at me saying she needs her medication. Immediately, because back home her pharmacy does same-day service. I tell her that's fine, but this is Iceland, and we need a prescription from an Icelandic doctor first. She stares at me like I've suggested human sacrifice. What do you mean? I have insurance. Blue Cross covers international. I explain insurance doesn't override medical law. She gets louder. This is discrimination. My insurance is valid everywhere. That's how insurance works globally. She pulls out her phone to show me her insurance app like it's some kind of diplomatic credential. See, it says international coverage. I gently explain international coverage means they'll reimburse approved claims. Not that American prescriptions work in Icelandic pharmacies. She demands to speak with my manager, because surely someone in charge understands. How modern insurance functions. My brother runs a textile shop in Marrakesh. An American couple comes in last summer looking at rugs. The husband asks if we take American Express. My brother says yes. The husband then asks what the exchange rate is. My brother tells him we calculate using that day's rate. The American nods, then asks, "But can't you just charge us in dollars?" My brother explains Moroccan businesses charge in dirhams. The American looks genuinely confused. "But you accept American Express. That's an American card. So you charge American prices, right?" He had somehow convinced himself that American credit cards created American pricing zones wherever they were used. His wife jumps in, supporting him. "We have global entry." "Doesn't that mean global pricing?" They left looking betrayed. Like my brother had broken some unspoken international agreement. I manage a guest house in Luang Prabang, Laos. Last November, this American couple checked in and immediately asked where the ice machine was. I told them we don't have one. They looked at each other with this wounded expression. The husband says, "How do people get ice?" I explain most guests don't use ice. He processes this slowly. "But what if we want cold drinks?" I tell him the minibar has a fridge. He shakes his head. "Americans need ice. It's hot here. We're tropical." I remind him that Laos is also tropical and we manage fine. His wife suggests maybe the ice machine is broken. "Can you get it fixed today?" They genuinely could not comprehend a hotel operating without industrial ice production. They ended up buying bags of ice from a convenience store 3 times a day. I teach English in Hanoi. Last spring, this American guy showed up for his first class wearing shoes indoors. The students all stopped talking. I politely mention we remove shoes here. He laughs. "Oh, I'm good. These are indoor shoes. I bought them specifically for this." I explain that's not how it works. We go barefoot or in socks. He looks down at his feet like I'm making an unreasonable request. "But these have never been outside. They're brand new." I opened the box this morning. Explains his whole theory about designated indoor footwear. It's actually more hygienic than everyone's socks. Who knows where those socks have been? The students just stared. He wore the shoes for the entire first week, explaining to anyone who asked that Americans solved the indoor shoe problem decades ago. With specialization, my sister works at a cinema in Wellington, New Zealand. Last July, an American family tried to bring in their own snacks. She tells them outside food isn't allowed. The father argues, "We have a constitutional right to eat what we want." My sister pauses. "You're not in America. New Zealand doesn't have your constitution." Seems genuinely shocked. "Wait, you have different laws?" His teenage son chimes in. "Dad, of course they do. They're a different country." The father's committed now. But basic human rights are universal. Freedom includes food choice. He starts citing something about the UN Declaration of Human Rights and Personal Liberty. My sister just pointed to the cinema's policy sign. They stood there another 5 minutes trying to find a legal loophole before finally buying popcorn at twice what they'd have paid outside. I work at a public library in Oslo. And last February, this American student tried to check out 8 books. I mentioned the limit is 5 for non-residents. She stares at me. "But I need all 8 for my thesis." This is censorship. I explain it's a lending limit, not censorship. She's not buying it. In America, Libraries represent free access to information. You can check out as many books as you need. That's what libraries are for. She pulls out her laptop to show me the American Library Association guidelines, like they're applicable in Norway. See? Intellectual freedom. No arbitrary limits. I try explaining that different library systems have different capacities. She interrupts. This is exactly why America leads in education. We don't restrict learning. She took photos of the books she couldn't borrow, muttering about filing a complaint with the American embassy. I'm a border guard at the Austro-Czech Republic crossing. And last summer, an American couple got confused at the checkpoint. The husband asks why we're checking passports. Isn't the EU like one country? I explain it's a union, not a single country. He looks doubtful. But you use the same money? That makes you one country. That's how federations work. I remind him each country has its own government, laws, and identity. His wife jumps in. So it's like the United States. I tell her no, it's different. She persists. But like Austria is like California and Czech Republic is like Nevada? I try explaining sovereignty and national identity. The husband interrupts. Then why have the euro? In America, one currency means one government. That's basic political science. They took 15 minutes to accept that Europe isn't structured like America. Finally driving off while debating which EU country was most like Texas. I'm a waiter in Copenhagen. And last September, this American asked for ranch dressing. We don't have ranch. He looks confused. What do you put on salad? I list our vinaigrettes and oils. He shakes his head. No, like creamy dressing. Ranch blue cheese? A Thousand Island? I tell him we have a yogurt-based dressing. He grimaces. That sounds healthy. Don't you have anything normal? I explain, these are normal in Denmark. He's skeptical. But ranch is universal. It's salad dressing. Every country has it. He asks if we can make it. I tell him we don't have the ingredients. He looks around the restaurant like surely someone else has encountered this problem. How do Danish people eat vegetables without ranch? His wife suggests maybe they just have better vegetables here. He wasn't comforted. My cousin manages a cafe in Buenos Aires. Last April, an American woman ordered a latte to go at 4 p.m. My cousin makes it, hands it over in a paper cup. The woman looks offended. You're giving me coffee and paper? Don't you have real mugs? My cousin explains, to-go orders come in disposable cups. The woman's not having it. But this is a cafe. Cafes use proper cups. That's the whole point of cafe culture. My cousin tries explaining that to-go means disposable. The American shakes her head. In Seattle, we pioneered real coffee culture, and we learned from Europe that coffee belongs in ceramic. This is disrespectful to the coffee. She wanted him to put the paper cup's contents into a ceramic mug that she'd then take with her. My cousin suggested she stay and drink it there, but I'm in a hurry. That's why I said to go. She left, calling his cafe Nautentic. I work at a restaurant in Kuala Lumpur. And last August, this American couple complained about portion sizes. The husband says, this entree is like an appetizer back home. Do you have normal-sized meals? I tell him this is a normal size. His wife adds, we're not trying to be rude, but we're hungry people. Can you bring 2 more portions? I explain they can order more dishes. The husband looks frustrated. We don't want meals. We want one proper meal. You know, American-sized. He uses his hands to demonstrate diameter and height. Like, enough food for an actual person. I bring a menu showing our larger sharing platters. He studies it. See, back home, this platter would be one person's entree. Malaysia's great, but you need to teach your chefs about portion standards. They ordered 3 entrees each. 8, maybe half, then complained about the bill. I'm a bartender in Dublin, and last October, an American guy ordered an Irish car bomb. I tell him we don't serve those here. He laughs nervously. Come on, I know it's called something different here. What's the local name? I explain, we don't serve it under any name. He looks confused. But this is Ireland. It's an Irish drink. That's why it's called that. I mention the drink's name references actual car bombings. He goes pale. Oh, no. I didn't mean I thought it was just a fun name, like it's strong or explosive or something. He apologizes 3 times, then orders a Guinness very quietly. His friends at the table asked why he didn't get the bomb. He whispered something, and they all went quiet. One of them muttered, "They really don't explain this stuff in America." I'm a taxi driver in Helsinki, and last June, an American woman gets in, asking to go to the city center. I tell her we're already in the city center. She looks out the window. No, like downtown. The tall buildings, the busy part, explain Helsinki center is distributed, not one high-rise district. She's skeptical. Every city has a downtown. That's what makes it a city. Where do people work? I gesture around us. She's not convinced. These look like neighborhoods. I need actual downtown, like where the business happens. I try explaining Nordic urban planning. She interrupts. Just take me to whatever's closest to downtown, like the Times Square equivalent. I drive her around for 10 minutes showing her various central areas. She kept saying, "But where are the skyscrapers?" She finally asked to go back to her hotel. Disappointed that Helsinki failed to provide proper urban infrastructure, I work at a train station in Bruges. And last May, an American couple tried to buy tickets to Paris for that afternoon. I tell them the next available train is tomorrow morning. The husband looks annoyed. What about the high-speed rail? Europe's supposed to have amazing trains. I explain it's high-speed, not instantaneous, and it's still sold out. His wife says, "Can we pay extra for priority boarding?" I mention it doesn't work that way. The husband argues, in America, if you pay enough, you can get on any flight. This is a train. It should be easier. I explain train capacity limits. He pulls out his credit card. Look, just put us on the train. We'll stand if we have to. We're Americans. We're adaptable. I tell him it's not about adaptability. The train is full. They spent 20 minutes trying to negotiate their way onto a sold-out train, convinced that European efficiency meant infinite capacity. I'm a parking attendant in Prague. And last July, an American argued about his ticket. I was only 10 minutes over. In America, they give you a grace period. I tell him the meter expired. That's how parking works. He's indignant. But 10 minutes? That's just traffic. You can't expect perfect timing. I explain that's why people add extra time. He shakes his head. This is a tourist city. You should be more understanding of visitors who don't know the system. I point out the system is identical to America pay for time. Don't overstay. He argues, but in the States, parking enforcement has discretion for minor violations. This is just bureaucratic. I show him the sign explaining the rules in 4 languages, including English. He took photos of everything, muttering about posting it online to warn other Americans about Prague's unreasonable parking enforcement. I teach at a language school in Montreal. And last September, an American student was confused about the bilingual signs. She asks, why is everything in 2 languages? Doesn't that make it harder to read? I explain Montreal is bilingual. She nods slowly. Right, but couldn't you just pick one? It seems inefficient. Tell her both French and English are official languages. She looks concerned. But how do people know which one to use? Don't they get confused? I explain people use whichever they prefer. She's struggling. In America, we have 1 language so everyone's on the same page. Doesn't having 2 official languages mean half the country can't understand the other half? I try explaining bilingualism and language rights. She interrupts. I'm just saying, from an efficiency standpoint, America's system makes more sense. 1 language, clear communication, no confusion. She spent the rest of class asking why Canada didn't just choose English. I'm a museum guide in Krakow. And last December, an American family asked if we accept dollars. I tell them no, only zloty or cards. The father seems surprised. But dollars are universal. Everyone takes dollars. I explain that's not true. His teenage daughter whispers, "Dad, we're in Poland. I've traveled extensively. Thailand took my dollars. Mexico took my dollars. Dollars are the global standard. I mentioned those countries chose to accept dollars as a convenience. It's not automatic. He pulls out a $50 bill. Look at this. Legal tender. That means it's accepted everywhere. That's what tender means. I try one more time to explain national currencies and sovereignty. His wife finally intervenes, finding a currency exchange on her phone. As they left, I heard him tell his daughter, when America was the world's superpower, everyone took dollars. Things have really changed. The pattern never stops. Every week brings new stories, new assumptions, new moments where the world fails to match American expectations. They arrive confident that their normal is universal normal. Their systems are self-evident truths rather than local customs. And when reality pushes back, they don't question their assumptions. They question reality. They'll write reviews, file complaints, and tell friends back home about how other countries do things wrong. Because in their minds, there's American culture, and then there's everywhere else figuring out how to be more like America. The mocking isn't cruel, it's exhausted. We're tired of explaining that different doesn't mean wrong. The universal doesn't mean American. But they'll keep coming, keep assuming, keep being shocked that the world refuses to organize itself around their expectations. And we'll keep serving them, correcting them, and quietly sharing stories about the latest American who discovered that the world is under no obligation to make sense to them.